Hello, today we are going to be doing an extra gentle shoulder practice. We'll also get a little bit into the neck here and the trapezius. So these muscles right here at the top of our shoulders, the base of our neck can get really tender and tight. So we're going to be doing some kind of release for this area. Also just kind of opening up here into the chest, a lot of taking the arms behind our back today. You'll need a couple of props. So we're going to start in a reclined chest opener. So you're going to need 2 blocks, or if you don't have 2 blocks, you could maybe use a stack of books here. Maybe even pillows if needed. You could still get a gentle chest opener. So that's something we'll be using, and definitely a belt. So we're going to be doing a lot of work with the belt today. If you don't have a yoga belt, you can also use a belt from your closet. A nice scarf that's not too stretchy would work as long as it's pretty firm. But mostly like a canvas kind of belt would be ideal if you happen to have anything like that. Some blankets would be useful for later on in the practice. Something from home is fine for that. And then I'm sitting on a bolster. This is not required for our practice today. However, if you have challenges sitting, we're going to do a brief seated practice. You might want to have something that you can sit up on. So if it's hard for you on your knees and your hips, you could even do some of this in a chair. You could bring in a folding chair if you wish, or like a big cushion to sit on, certainly a couple of folded blankets, or you could sit on a block as well. So you have some options there. Energetically speaking, this is an area that can kind of be a bit of a traffic jam. So in the yoga tradition, we talk about the chakras that run along the spine. So we're dealing with the area of the heart chakra as well as the throat chakra. So the area of the neck can be considered the sort of communication center, right? This is where we express from, talk from, even create from, making sound. But at times we suppress our voice, and this area can kind of get blocked up, right? If we feel like we're not being heard or we're not able to say what we need to say, sometimes this area can get a little blockage. Mr. Ziggy's joining us today. I don't know if you can see him. So anyway, get a little bit of a traffic jam in here. And when that happens, it can cut us off from the lower part of our body, right? So if we're kind of cut off here, there's a traffic jam here, we end up all up in our heads. So sometimes we need to be able to express so that there is a clear channel from our head to our heart, right? Now, if that is kind of blocked off and we're very much up in our heads and the mind is quite loud, it's like chatter, 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 it's going to be a lot more challenging for us to listen to our hearts, right? And in this time that we're all dealing with, it's hard to know sometimes what to believe, what's right, what's wrong. There's so much information out there. But I think if we can quiet the mind a little bit more and drop into listening to our heart, we might be able to find some peace of mind in a way. So calming that mind, tuning into the heart. And we might better have an idea of what to listen to, what to trust. Some say the voice of the heart is like the voice of the divine. So I'll leave that up to you to decide. We're going to open this area up today, listen into the heart space, quiet the mind a little bit more, and ease this area that is often all jammed up, right? So we're going to start in a reclined chest opener. So I've got 2 blocks here. We're going to have 1 block under the shoulder blades and the other block under your head. So those of you who want to go a little bit further, maybe could turn these blocks up higher if you have that in your practice. I'm going to be keeping it extra gentle, so I'm going to keep the blocks on the lowest settings today. All right, so we're going to come down. I'm going to move that bolster out of the way. And if you wish, you could also have a blanket rolled for underneath your knees. which can ease up what's going on in our lower backs. So we'll bring in this first block, and as you roll back, try to position that block so it's hitting the bottom tips of your shoulder blades, right? And then your head is a little bit higher than your heart here. Tucking the shoulders in just a little bit. So we have this feeling of openness in the chest, and then arms can be out at your side if that's comfortable for you, okay? Now, if this is challenging for you in any way, you could put some pillows underneath your arms. You could also maybe have your knees bent. But if you're okay, we're going to have the arms gently toward the sides, soft bend in the elbows. So that's just, we don't want to have them like stick straight here lifting up. So just that soft bend, and we'll settle in here for a few breaths. So letting your legs get heavy, letting your shoulders get heavy onto the block, and noticing that we have this little bit of space here in the front of the chest. This takes the heads of the arm bones back. For many of us, they're always forward. So this helps us feel more open in the area of the chest and shoulders. Now, as you settle in here, becoming aware of your breath. Initially not changing anything, but having an awareness of where the breath is moving in the body. Maybe starting to smooth out the breath. And settle in. Feeling like all of the particles of your body are starting to settle. So when we first arrive on our practice, we might feel a little shaken up. Our body's in a maybe more of an amped up state till we get ourselves to our mats. But now let all those particles of your being gradually start to find stillness. Not only on the outer, more obvious physical body, but on a more subtle level. Can you tune in and sense that your body is settling? Maybe visualizing particles of a snow globe gradually, softly landing. So let yourself softly land here in this posture. Take a few more cycles of breath. Letting that breath be very easeful, soft. Letting the exhales help you release and settle those particles a bit more. Now on your next inhale, take your arms now. We're actually going to become more active and reach the arms out. Stretch through your fingertips. And then exhale, release and relax the arms. And do that a few more times. Inhale, reach the arms away from you, stretch through your fingertips, and then relax your arms down. Let's do that one more time. Reach out through your arms, big stretch, and then release. And go ahead and settle for another breath. From here, we're going to start to come out. So you can bend your knees. Place your feet flat on your mat. And then you could prop up if that feels okay, or even roll to your side and prop up. But do be very mindful and gentle as you come out of that posture. Okay, so I'm going to take the blocks off the mat. Keep your strap nearby. We are going to use that in a little bit. And we're going to come to sit up again, either on your bolster, a couple of cushions, a block, whatever you have. so that you can be really comfortable in your knees, your hips, and your lower back. Okay. Now, if this is still challenging here, being upright, you could maybe take your blocks and stick them underneath your knees for additional support. So that's another option. Widen out your sit bones. And then we're going to take a few rolls of our shoulders. So up, back, and down. See if you can even sense how the shoulder blades move as you circle your shoulders. And then we're going to reverse, go the other way. Circle forward and back. Getting a sense of those shoulder blades moving. One more here. And then release. Bring your hands onto the bolster behind you or near the sides or toward the back a little bit, wherever feels comfortable. And we're going to press down, lift the chest up, and then we're going to start to lift into a slight back bend. So I'm lifting up through my chest, taking my head slightly back without dropping. I don't want to drop my neck back. Back of the neck stays long. Elbows draw towards each other. So I feel like I'm opening here into my chest, into my collarbones. And let's take 2 more breath cycles here. Feel like you're trying to pull your hands apart on the floor or your bolster. And then release. Good. And then just kind of roll them out again. We're going to grab onto your strap now. I have a loop in my strap, that's going to be for later, so that's fine. But we're going to take the strap behind our backs. Now, a lot of times when we clasp our hands behind our backs, the elbows hyperextend, and that is its own issue, which happens to me because I am a little hypermobile in my body. So I'm going to have you use your strap even if you can clasp your hands. So I have my hands close together on the strap. So as close as it feels comfortable for you behind your back. And then for this first part, we're going to keep our ribs calm and right over our pelvis. So in other words, I'm not going to pop my ribs up. I'm going to keep the ribs down. Okay? And then reach back behind you with that strap and start to pull the strap apart with your hands. Pull the strap apart with your hands and then lift the strap away from your lower back any amount. And then we're going to keep a little bend in the elbows. So feel like you're pulling your hands and pulling your elbows away from each other without flaring your ribs. Let's hold that for 1 more breath. Good, and then relax and let it go. Set the strap to the side. Take a full breath here. All right, now we're actually going to clasp our hands behind our back, but if you could, try not to lock out your elbows and go into that hyperextension. We're going to change it up this time, and we're going to slide the hands over towards your right hip. And if they don't go all the way, just go as far as you can. And then we're going to pull the elbows back towards each other and keep your chest lifting, the crown of the head lifting without flaring your ribs. I don't want to pop into a back bend here. Hold it here for another breath. And then keep the position of your hands. Drop your head over to the left side. And then that increases that sensation for me in my neck and the trapezius. I might even tip my head forward. See how that feels. And maybe tip the head back. And then come back toward the center. Bring the head back up. And then release your arms. Roll the shoulders out and just pause. Now we're going to go to the other side. Clasp your hands again. If you could, the opposite thumb would be on top, and then we're going to slide the hands toward that opposite hip. Draw the elbows towards each other without flaring the ribs, and then hold here. Nice big breath. One more. And then I'm going to tip my head over to the other side. Now head's going right. Keeping those elbows back, maybe tip the head slightly forward. And then tipping the head slightly back. And then head comes toward the center. Bring the head back up to neutral and then release. And roll those shoulders out again. All right. So we're going to come off of the seated position now, and we're going to transfer into tabletop pose. So set the blocks off to the side if you were using those, as well as your bolster. If you have a hard surface underneath your knees, you might want to grab one of your blankets and cushion your knees so we can not have any discomfort there. And then we'll do a few rounds of our cat-cow. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. And we're going to take an inhale, and as you exhale, we'll round the spine, pushing into the floor, drawing your tailbone down, letting your head release. And I'm going to hold this rounded shape a few moments and just shake out my head. Now keep breathing. Don't want to hold our breath here. And now we're going to do it continuously. So inhale, lifting the gaze, the chest, the sit bones, keeping tone in your low belly. And then exhale, round your spine, lifting your navel, push the floor away, feel your shoulder blades spreading apart. And then as you inhale, the shoulder blades pull down the back towards each other a little bit. And then exhale, they spread apart. One more time, just like this. Now stay again in that rounded shape. Push down and pull your hands apart to really get into your upper back. As you pull the tailbone down, draw the hands apart, and then release. Okay, we'll take a brief child's pose. Widen your knees. Send your hips towards your heels, and then a few options for your arms. You could put your hands stacked to rest your forehead on your hands, or you might reach your arms forward and put your forehead on the floor. We also could put a block underneath the head. So that's another option. And breathing here, another breath cycle. And then we'll slowly come up. We're going to use both of the blocks now. So grab both blocks. Place them in front of you on your mat. And you're going to be putting your elbows onto the blocks. So this is called puppy pose. So I'm going to have my hips pretty much over the knees. They might shift a little bit. And then I'm going to walk the arms forward until the elbows are on the blocks. If I can, palms are going to come together. And I'm going to start to let my head drop down and let my arms come behind the back of my head. Now my head could rest here on the blocks, or I could let my head come inside. That's going to be a deeper expression of the pose, so I'll just go with the gentle version here. Head is supported on the blocks. Hold another breath. And then we'll slowly start to come out. Walk yourself up. And then we'll set those blocks aside once again. Okay. So we're going to come up to stand. You're going to need to have your strap with you. in a moment, so just keep that nearby. And we'll come up to stand. All right. So finding a nice mountain pose here. So mountain pose, we have our feet parallel to each other. How far apart they are depends on how stable you feel. So if you feel wobbly, you could always widen them a little bit. And then rooting down through your legs, firm up your thighs, tone your abdomen. Feel like your rib cage is lifting off your pelvis. And then arms at your side, we're going to turn the palms forward. So notice as you turn the palms forward what happens in your shoulders. So let's try turning the arms forward, turn your thumbs back, and then kind of feel how this shoulder rolls forward. We spend a good portion of our day with our shoulder rolled forward. So let's see if we can reverse that. Turn the palms, open the collarbones, open the chest. Good. And then we'll inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. And exhale, back down. Good. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach the arms up. Palms face each other. This time hold it here. Rooting through your feet, use your arms to really reach, lift up, and we're going to try not to do the rib flare. So keep the ribs right over your pelvis. One more breath. And then release, arms down at your side. Good. Okay, so now we're going to add that into a half sun salutation as a little warm up, and then we're going to continue working on our shoulders. So inhale, arms up and overhead. And as you exhale, there's a little bend in your knees. We're going to fold forward and touch the ground. Now, if you can easily touch the ground, we're going to have some blocks here. So feel free to have your blocks in front of you. So I'm going to show that. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold forward, hands to your blocks. Inhale, lift up halfway. So now my chest is parallel to the floor, my head is reaching forward, and then as I exhale, a little bend in the knees, fold forward. Inhale, reach the arms all the way out and up. Exhale, arms down at your side. We're going to do two more just like that, and feel free to use the blocks or not, totally your choice. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Little bend in those knees. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, fold. Draw your belly in as you fold. And then inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Lift, lift, lift. And then release your arms down. One more time. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold, draw your belly in. And then inhale, last time, arms reach. Exhale, release. Good. Okay, arms out wide, big wingspan. You could separate your feet here so you feel nice and stable. We're going to give yourself a big hug. So take your right arm and bring it on top and give yourself a big hug. Now what I want you to do is really walk your fingers back. So you feel like you're pulling your shoulder blades apart on your back. And then we're going to bring our awareness to this triangle, or actually it's kind of more of a diamond shape on your back. Okay, so from your top of your neck here, the occipital ridge, down here to the thoracic and across your shoulder blades. So that's like an X shape, or you can think of it as a diamond shape. So narrow at the top, go wide to the shoulder blades, and narrow at the bottom. I want you to bring your awareness there. And as you're doing your shoulder hug, inhale, and see if you can inflate that diamond shape. So bring your breath into the back of your heart. Do that one more. Let's reverse. Inhale the arms out wide. And now left arm on top, big shoulder hug. Pull your shoulder blades apart and breathe into that diamond shape. Inflate it with your breath. One more like this. Good, and then release. So this is an area of the body that often is kind of stuck here in our upper thoracic. So we're breathing some life into this area. It's also where our rhomboids are. Our rhomboids help keep us upright, keeps our shoulders back, and our trapezius, which connects all the way up into our neck and down our back. So we're working into all these areas today. We're going to repeat that, or you can go to the next level. Okay, so arms out wide, right arm on top, big shoulder hug. Now you have the option of staying here, repeating what we just did, or we're going to try eagle arms. So we're going to bring the arms to face each other and see if we can intertwine our forearms and then palms touch each other. Okay, so we're going to hold here, so I'm going to go sideways, and we're going to inhale and breathe into that diamond shape in our back. And then as we exhale, we're going to squeeze the arms together and feel like our shoulders are kind of wrapping forward here, just to get some more space in our upper back. Breathe into that triangle and then squeeze the arms. Keep the elbows lifted here, not dropping down. Lifted in line with your shoulders. Good, side two, release. Inhale the arms out wide, and now left arm on top, hug the shoulders. You can stay here or come into your eagle position. And then I'm going to go the other way, keeping a nice long spine. And then I'm going to inhale, breathe into that space in my back. Exhale, squeeze the arms together. One more. Okay, go ahead and release that, and maybe roll your shoulders out a little bit in between these different exercises. Okay, now we're going to need our straps, so go ahead and grab that, and we're going to do a pose called Gomukhasana arms. Gomukhasana means cow face. Funny name for a good shoulder opening pose. So I'm going to take my right arm and reach it up and behind my back. And then I'm going to use this hand to lift this lift this elbow up and bring it in toward the back of my head a little bit. And then the opposite arm is going to reach to the side. Turn the thumb down, swing it up your back, and you're going to be holding the strap in both hands. Okay? So right hand's on top, left hand's on the bottom. Couple of actions here. Now this top arm, I want you to think about your shoulder blade, your right shoulder blade. Think about it wrapping around your back and lifting up. It's moving, the shoulder blade is moving away from the spine. Now, typically we do this pose kind of like in a symmetrical way. Today's going to be slightly asymmetrical to get a little deeper into these shoulder blades. So the right shoulder blade is wrapping around, lifting up. Now your left shoulder blade, I want you to think about it moving in toward your spine. So squeeze it in, and then let the right one wrap around and lift up. I know that's a little complicated, but this one is moving in on the left, this one is moving up on the right. Now breathing here. One more. Now to come out, we're going to let go of that top arm, bring it around, and again, we're going to try and roll the shoulders out a little bit between sides. All right, so moving on now to the second side. You're going to take your strap into your left hand, reach it up and back. First, use your right hand to draw that arm in, lift the elbow up. So that'll help me lengthen the side of the body here. Then right arm comes out to the side. Swing it up your back and hold on to both ends of the strap. Okay, now that we have that, we can refine it a little bit more. You're going to draw your left elbow and shoulder blade Well, the shoulder blade's moving away from the spine, wrapping around toward the front and lifting upward. And then your right shoulder blade is going to roll back and in toward your spine. So move it in toward your spine, and then the left is lifting up. All right, so just do the best you can here. I know that's a little complicated instruction. So even if you're just holding the strap, pulling on the strap, you're going to get similar actions. But that's just a little refinement. Right shoulder blade into the body, left shoulder blade wrapping around and lifting up. Good, let go of that top arm and release. And go ahead and just give your shoulders another roll. All right. So now we're going to work a little bit more intentionally into this area of the trapezius. So the upper trapezius right here. So this is like, we're always getting like tightness and soreness in here. You might even want to just feel it now and just notice what it feels like for you. Is this tense? Is it tight in here? Is there any tenderness? All right, so we're going to have a big loop in your strap. And we're going to take it over our shoulder like a sling. Okay, so as if you had like your purse or your arm bag, your messenger bag right over your shoulder. So take a moment and get that set. So if you need to, pause the video for a moment, get your strap set up so it's about this distance from shoulder to hip. And I want to be able to straighten this arm. So I'm on my left shoulder here, mirroring you, and then my right arm is going to be able to pull down on the strap. So I'm going to make mine a little tighter because I want to make sure that I get a good traction here. Okay, if it's too loose, it's not going to help me release this trapezius. Okay, feet are a little wider than your hips so you feel stable, and then we're going to bend this elbow and pull down, and then just have to pull the shoulder away from the ear. Do that 2 more. Lift up and pull down, and 1 more. Lift up and pull down. Good. Now this part is where, for me, it gets really yummy. I hope that you can figure this out. It's a little hard to explain, but I think we can do it. You're going to move that belt to the back. Okay? So you've still got a good grip on it. You've moved it to the back, but now we're going to slowly pull the belt forward. Now as I pull the belt forward, this is taking my trapezius back. And I just feel it rolling the flesh back here as I pull that strap forward. Okay, let's try that again. Move it toward the back. Pull down and slightly pull it forward, feeling that trapezius roll back. Now tip your head away from the top strap. Take this hand and turn it forward. Oh yeah. And then maybe move your head a little forward and back. And just notice how that feels. Get a nice big stretch there. Okay, release that and just kind of move your head around a little bit and just feel that release. That's pretty amazing for me. I hope it's good for you too. Okay, let's take it now to the other side. So put your strap on like a sling. It's going to be right on that trapezius, that fleshy part, and we're going to make sure that we can straighten the arm and have it be nice and secure, right? Don't want that belt too loose. And then I'm going to pull down with my hand and release, and pull down with my hand and release. 1 more time, pull down. Good, now I'm going to take it back. So I'm moving my hand to the back plane of my body, and then I'm going to slowly pull down and pull the hand forward, feeling that pull that trapezius, rolling it back. Try to stay neutral in your spine. Try not to lean back, and then release. I'm going to tighten it up 1 more time to do it again. Take it back, pull down, slowly pull forward. My strap seems to be getting loose, so I'm going to hold on to the tail. Pull forward. I'm going to do that 1 more time. Go to the back and pull. Now I've got it. Okay. Now, as I pull forward and this is drawing back, I'm going to tip my head away. And then turn this palm forward, right palm forward. Pulling forward with your hands so that trapezius rolls back, and then your head could tip forward and back. Get into those neck muscles. Good, and now release. And let that go. And just kind of shake it out a little bit. Roll out your shoulders a little bit. And now we're going to get a little more intentional with the shoulder rolls. So, feeling like you're moving your shoulder blade. Roll your right shoulder back. And then roll your left shoulder back. I'm going to make this kind of a big movement here. Big circle, really helping us to free up the connective tissue around our shoulder blades, our trapezius, and our neck. So it's not all bound up. Helps us to move more freely when we keep our fascia healthy and happy by moving our bodies in novel ways, right? We do the same movements all the time, every day. Our body starts to adapt, and then we get these sticky places in our body. But the more we move in these different fluid ways, helps that fascia stay more fluid and mobile. Now we're going to reverse and go the other way. So now, right shoulder forward, and then left shoulder forward, moving from your shoulder blade. So it's a little bit more than when we just do this, right? A little bit more challenging. Do that a couple more. Moving from your shoulder blade. Okay, and then pause, take a breath. It's some hard work, so give yourself a moment. And then we're going to now alternate forward and then alternate back. Okay, so right shoulder forward, left shoulder back. Good. Now left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. Good. Have to think here. Right shoulder forward, left shoulder back. Left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. One more time. Right shoulder forward, left shoulder back. Left shoulder forward, right shoulder back. Good. And then just loosen it all up again. Shake it all out. Okay. So we're done with our standing work. We're going to come back down to sit. And we're going to finish up with a little somatic work. So I'm going to be on my side. You might want to have a blanket here for a head pillow. Okay? I'm going to come down, and my top arm is going to just rest here on the top of my hip and shoulder. And then we're going to just squeeze the top shoulder by the ear and then relax it. Do that again. Squeeze it up and release. One more time. Squeeze it up and release. Good. Now pull the arm away and release. And we're going to do each movement 3 times. Pull away and release. Now if you can, I want you to just close your eyes while you do this work and really feel and sense where the muscles are working, stretching, what sensations you're feeling. Good. Sometimes you even feel it here in your hip and your back as the body reaches. This is tightening up a bit, so you might notice that. Now roll the top shoulder forward and release. Roll it forward and release. before I repeat. I want it to relax completely before I do the next round. So this pulls the shoulder blade away from the spine when I do that forward movement. Now back, I'm going to roll my thumb back and squeeze the shoulder blade into the back body. Now the shoulder blade is going in toward the spine, like we did with that Gomukhasana. 2 more like that. Roll open, squeeze the shoulder behind you, and release. So this like contracts and releases a muscle to help re-educate it, re-pattern where we're stuck in our tight areas. Now we're going to do a circle. Up, back, away, and forward. So combining those 4 movements, I want to roll the shoulder forward, up by my ear, into the spine, and away. 1 more time. It's like we were doing those shoulder rolls. Now we're going to reverse. Go back, squeeze, up to the top, and away. Roll back, squeeze, up by the ear, forward, and away. 1 more like this. And now rest. And I'm going to have you roll to your back a moment and just feel the difference between your shoulder blades. You might even want to make sure there's no blanket under your head. So my top shoulder that I was working feels a lot flatter to the ground. It feels more relaxed. All right, let's try the other side. So you can just turn over. I'm going to flip so I can continue to be facing you. I'm going to go here. My knees are stacked up. My head is on the blanket. You can have as much cushion here as you need. And then we're going to repeat. So first I'm going to squeeze up by the ear and relax. And again, squeeze up by the ear and relax. 1 more time, squeeze up and relax. Good, now reach away. Remember, the important part of this work is noticing. What am I feeling? What muscles are contracting to allow me to reach my arm? Good. Now roll the shoulder forward. Squeeze the chest muscle. And release. 2 more like that. Roll forward, squeeze the chest muscle, and release. 1 more time, roll forward, squeeze, and release. Good, now we'll go to the back. Roll the thumb back, squeeze the shoulder blade in toward the spine, and release. 2 more. Roll back, squeeze, and release. 1 more time, roll back, squeeze, and release. Now we'll circle. Forward, up, back, and down. Really try to hit all of those movements that we just did. So we're not just circling, we're going forward and back and reaching away. And now reverse, squeeze back, up, forward, and away. One more time. Good, and then rest. And then once again, come onto your back. Take your blanket out from underneath your head and just feel and notice the shoulder blades. Maybe they're a little more even now. Okay, one more thing. Pull that blanket back in. Reach the arms straight up. We're going to hold opposite elbows. This is one of my favorites. Feet are as wide as your mat with knees bent. And this is, I call this the typewriter. So we're going to drop the knees to the right and your arms move toward the left like a typewriter carriage. And you want to keep them in line with your shoulder. And then up through center, over to the other side. Now your head could follow your arms if that feels okay. Center to the side. You're giving a gentle kind of, not necessarily pulling, but letting gravity. So your arms are releasing with gravity. One more time on each side. Kind of holding above those elbows. All right, and now we're back to center. Hug your knees into your chest and just have a little rock on your lower back. You could stay with this, or if you want to do a happy baby, you could bring your feet up. You could hold behind your legs as an option, hold your ankles, or hold your feet. Now, if I have to round my back and poke my vertebrae into the ground to get my feet, I'd prefer if you stay here. Okay, so that would be safer for your low back. Maybe a rock if you wish. Tailbone is staying toward the ground. Shoulders are staying toward the ground. And then we'll hug in. And we're going to get ready for our Shavasana. So this is a quicker practice today by request. So we're going to roll to our side and come on up, and I'm going to set you up for a nice shoulder opening Shavasana. So we're going to take one of our blankets. And this is what I call kind of the neutral of the blanket. We're going to make it into a trifold. So I want this to be 1/3 the size of what it looks like now. So I fold it over 1/3 and then back 1/3 like an accordion, and then smooth it out until it's about this size. Okay? And then we'll put that right on the mat. And I'm going to take a second blanket or a pillow off of your sofa would work. We're going to take that and fold it up half the size of how it's neutral for a head pillow. So another pillow would work great there. And then we're going to come down with our spine right along this setup. So I'm going to sit with maybe a handprint here. And then when I come back, I want to lift the chest. Feel like I'm laying those vertebrae down as far away from each other as I can. And then I'm going to pull this blanket in so my head is supported. Maybe take a moment and reach your tailbone away from you if it feels like you're crunched up in your low back. Now, you could stay here with knees bent, feet wide, drop your knees together in like a constructive rest. Or if it's comfortable, you could straighten your legs out here, which I think would be really nice. But it's totally up to you, but you'll feel like your spine is draping. Your spinal muscles are draping over the bolster, which opens up the front of the chest. Now, if it's okay for you, we're going to turn the palms up and just tuck the shoulder blades in a little bit and come to rest. Now, certainly if you're cold, you could always make sure you have an extra blanket or layer to cover up with. Maybe grab that stuff and you can even pause the video so you're nice and comfortable and warm for your rest. If you have an eye cover, you can put a scarf over your eyes or an eye pillow. That would be really nice as well. And then we're going to just settle in here into our Shavasana. Now as you inhale, imagine that you're breathing in and all that breath reaches out through your arms and your fingertips, and then exhale, the breath and the energy is moving back towards your heart. So inhale from the center of your body outward, like you're expanding without moving, and then exhale, relax back in. 2 more like that. Expansion and a release, and 1 more. Now simply just come back to that settling, that dropping into stillness, that sensation of the particles of your body settling slowly down to the earth, heaviness. So some of the energetics of shoulder work. When you think about our shoulders and some of the phrases that we use, like we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. It has to do with where we hold our burdens, our struggles, right there in our shoulders and our neck. So let go of your burdens as you rest here. Let go of any emotional weight that you are carrying in your neck and your shoulders. Any fear that you're holding. Let everything soften. Every exhale helps you release a little more. I'm going to have you stay. I'm going to be coming out to do our reading. So go ahead and continue to rest. This is called Sacred Exhaustion by Jeff Foster. Your tiredness has dignity to it. Do not rush to pathologize it or push it away, for it may contain great intelligence, even medicine. You have been on a long journey from the stars, friend. Bow before your tiredness now. Do not fight it any longer. There is no shame in admitting that you cannot go on. Even the courageous need to rest. For a great journey lies ahead, and you will need all of your resources. Come, sit by the fire of presence. Let the body unwind, drop into silence here. Forget about tomorrow, let go of the journey to come, and sink into this evening's worth. Every great adventure is fueled by rest at its heart. Your tiredness is noble, friend, contains healing power, if you would only listen. Every great adventure is fueled by rest at its heart. Your tiredness is noble, friend, and contains healing power if you would only listen. So I invite you, if you wish, to stay where you are for a longer Shavasana, if you would like to continue to rest. If you'd like to close with me now, you can take a few moments to reawaken with a gentle, deeper breath and a little movement in your fingers and your toes. Gradually, I'm going to have you maybe take some bigger movements, maybe stretch your arms before rolling over to your right side. And we're going to pause there on your right side. Have another breath or two. Or you can certainly stay where you are in Shavasana. And then take your time using your hands to press yourself back up. And we're going to meet in a seated posture as you're ready. So feel free to sit up on some props. We'll just take a moment to sit up tall. Shoulders are back. Chest is open. Grounded through the sit bones. Lengthen through the crown of your head. And just feel that newfound space you've created through your practice today in your neck and shoulders. Bring your hands together in front of your heart if you're closing with me. Inhale deeply, and as you exhale, bow your head down to your heart. Thank you, everyone. Namaste. All right. Until next time, thank you very much. Have a great